Hello, LTL fellows. This is Deneen Zimmerman, LTL coach and education leader for KASC. Today I have two learning goals for our time together. LTL fellows will be able to explain the role and responsibilities of a school council and be able to use the school council and its structures to increase student achievement. I will be referring to KSC's newsletter Insights to further our learning. This newsletter can be found on Haiku. Councils were one part of the Kentucky Education Reform Act called KARA. Councils turned 25 years old this year and are one of the few things that still exist from this historical reform. School council's number one priority was and still is to increase student achievement. The SBDM law, KRS 16345, says that school councils shall have the responsibility to set school policy consistent with district board policy, which shall provide an environment to enhance the student achievement and help the school meet the goals established by the two statutes. The principal shall be the primary administrator and instructional leader of the school, and with the assistance of the total school staff, shall administer the policies established by the school council and the local board. Kentucky's Constitution set goals for our school, and they have only been revised twice. I don't think any of these goals would surprise any of us. The goals of our state match the goals of our schools and districts. So if you wonder where your district or state get their direction, now you know. And you can go back into the article or review the PowerPoint again if you want to take time to look at those in more detail. The next section of our newsletter explains why school councils were a part of the reform. It was about local control. Mary Ann Blankenship, Executive Director of KEA, shares this. The theory behind school-based decision-making is that those closest to our children's education know best what those children need. That theory is gaining even more prominence today. Many current school improvement efforts revolve around teacher leadership and making sure that teachers' voices are considered when education policy is made and practices are established. Kentucky had it right in 1990 and has it right today. We want to empower all work. We want to empower all teachers and promote their voices. And it seems at least once a week I open an article from Education Week or Edutopia or Mindshift, and you read articles about empowering teachers and how important that is to increasing student achievement in a school. I just read an article from Melbourne, Australia. Mindshift shared that article, and I put it on our Facebook page about how they've realized they need to empower teachers in order to change their school and their district around. Kentucky's known this for a while now, which is exciting to think about. We've been doing this for 25 years. As there's more talk about charter schools, we have to remember that school councils are the perfect example of local control. But if our school councils are not effective, then a different version of local control will be suggested. And unfortunately, this has already happened. At this point in the legislative session, a bill concerning charter schools has not been introduced, but it could happen in March. There are two types of charter schools, public and then private. Public charter schools would look more like a magnet where the money would channel through the public school system and a charter school will be established. And then the public school district would have oversight over this school. Private would be where a company comes in to a district and opens a school, and the school district does not have any oversight for that school that was established through a private company. And then the big difference is that as of right now, there is not talk about adding more money, of course, to the education budget, but taking the money that should be allocated to the public schools be given to charter schools. School councils have a great deal of responsibility. And in order to show others how effective our school councils are and how we do have local control, let's look at our policies that councils oversee. As you see in the chart, these are areas that school councils make policy that has to be implemented by the principal. All council members and staff members should be familiar with both the school policies and, more broadly, the scope of council authority. In addition, there are areas that are required decisions that are not listed on the policy list but are listed in a chart 2 slides from here, and we'll go over that here in a moment. This is one of the most important part of council work, is writing policies to be implemented by the principal and also making required decisions. Let's look at curriculum, for example. We all know that we must teach the standards set forth by Kentucky, but at the same time, a council can write their curriculum, which will tell them when they teach certain parts of the curriculum, how they're going to teach it, which is an instructional practices policy, and they can also add to the curriculum at any time. If your school decides that you want every student to have a CPR class before they graduate, that's a curriculum decision that the school council can make. Another policy that is interesting and we get quite a few questions about is consultation. The principal must, by law, consult the council before sending the recommendation of a teacher or any staff member to the school board so that the superintendent can finish the hiring process. So consultation may look different from school to school because of what the policy says. If you have questions about any of these policies, please contact me. I love talking about school council policies, and I'm very willing to help you in any way to make your school council stronger. Here's the list of required decisions. One of these things that you see on there is budget, right here in the box. Even though these are required decisions, many times we suggest that you have a policy describing how you would make that required decision. We have sample school budget policies, we have sample primary program policies, which includes the flexible grouping, and we have sample principal selection policies as well. So let's talk about the school budget. It is a required decision, and we suggest that you also have a policy. And this is one of the most important parts of a school council's work. Sharing the budget and spending is one of the best ways to build trust in any organization. When we can all agree on how to spend the money so that every penny is focused on increasing student achievement, then our school is headed in the right direction. Once the budget is set based on the priorities of increasing student achievement, then the other areas of responsibility should align to set the focus. So as a teacher leader, how can the council be used to help you spread a research-based idea, or grow your project, or understand the needs of your students? One way is to share your ideas in a council committee meeting. Not all schools have committees because it is not required by law, but if your school does have committees, and we feel it's best practice that they do, share your ideas with the appropriate committee, or maybe ask to be put on the agenda of the council meeting. The school council bylaws will explain how to request an item to be placed on the agenda. It is always best to have data or student work to show the success of our project or research idea. Or maybe you want to share the needs of your students. Share your concerns and ideas, but be sure to not include any identifying information about your students. As educators, we must continue to use our school councils as the governing body to increase student achievement. Many times educators see council work as an extra hoop to jump through. It is not an extra hoop, but it is our tool to work together to help our students. No one knows your school better than those in your school community. I have seen school-wide issues resolved and make the school stronger through council work. I can also remember hearing tales of one district's curriculum office, this is before Kara, requiring all teachers turn in the teacher manual page numbers they ended on each week. If they weren't in the right spot, then the teacher was spoken to about keeping pace. This would mean that all schools use the same materials regardless of the needs of their students. Sometimes we are so used to the luxury of our schools making our own decisions that we can't imagine what it would be like without a school council. Take advantage of the autonomy that we have and help our school councils be effective. And on the last page of the newsletter, you will see lots of data, and I've put some of the screenshots in our PowerPoint. Evidence shows that school council governance creates a climate that supports school improvement in Kentucky. Principals chosen by councils in concert with leadership from teachers and parents are keeping a focus on student achievement. Here you'll see data from the LTL survey. Teachers report favorable conditions for effective school leadership. So you will see that teachers feel like they are effective leaders in their school, that their leadership and the faculty share the same vision, that the school improvement team provides effective leadership at the school. Parents and guardians are influential decision makers, and we could all do a little bit better on that one. And school leadership facilitates using data to improve student learning. And analyzing student data is one of those required decisions that a school council must make. Here we show data from the NAEP test and how student achievement is improving in Kentucky. In 1990, the year that Kara started, 13% of our students were proficient in math, and now 40% of our fourth grade students are proficient in math. And then in reading, we go back to 1998. Kara had been in place for 8 years. We were at the 29% of our students were performing proficient in reading, and now we are up to 36%, which is above the U.S. public school average. We also have some schools in Kentucky that do not have school councils. These are schools in districts that are exempt because there is only one school in the entire district. So our data here shows that schools without councils are less likely to perform in the top half of Kentucky schools. And you can take a look at that data and see how those numbers pan out here with our graph. Thank you for all that you do in your schools, and please continue to be teacher leaders. And please use your school council to help your school use their school community, their school staff, to make improvements to increase student achievement at your school. On IQ, there will be a feedback task, and so be sure to read the entire article and watch the screencast, and then you can reflect on the question that is in haiku, and I've also put it here on the last slide. How can you increase the effectiveness of your school council in order to increase student achievement? I look forward to reading your answers. I hope that if you know about school councils, this was a good review. If you don't know about school councils, this is just the tip of the iceberg, and we would love for you to attend trainings that we are giving for new council members. Those are called Intro to SBDM, and we will be offering some around the state this summer. Thank you for your time today. I look forward to reading your reflections. And please don't hesitate to contact KASC with any questions you may have. Thank you.